Central Intelligence was founded after World War II, when the Office of uh, Special Services, right, was dissolved. They replaced the OSS, presumably because the mission scope had changed. Not like the Nazis sent some kamikaze intelligence group here to take us all down with them. The country is a democracy, okay? The church is a religion. The state is not a democracy. It's not, you know, it. If they're anarchists, how come I have to be in charge? So the media has allowed a bunch of homos and fucking retards to infiltrate the most important moving parts of our working government. Nobody, no member of any secret agency or branch of the military ever signed up to take a bullet for your right to stab us in the back, right? So I think we can safely say religion for the Noble Assembly is a search for universal and eternal truth, unless yours isn't. In which case you're at the wrong meeting. The earth has been round for thousands of years. So the problem is in the IRS's definition of religion. It's not just a system of beliefs shared by however many jingleheads. Whether or not you agree that religion is a search for universal and eternal truth via Socrates, Jesus, and Buddha, because it implies an afterlife, you're not God. If it bleeds, it's not a God. If you turn out to be bulletproof, we'll do whatever you say. In the meantime, certain authorities are reserved only for God. It's not Trump, right? He bled for us. God's over there somewhere. The gay mafia became anonymous in 17th century England because they don't like him either. Nobody likes him. They killed Heath Ledger. It became a revolution in Vietnam by smuggling diamonds and heroin right under NYPD's noses. They were not oppressed. They were suspicious. Just too many of them for NYPD, right, boys? People talk about like Israel has a right to exist or not. Israel's a democracy. Like, it's allowed. Islam's not even a real religion. It's technically a vendetta against people who escaped slavery by people who believe slaves have no rights. They can do whatever they want to us. So they have a vendetta against escaped slaves. The corporation is canonized in the New Testament by the Apostle St. Paul for saved Christians and kosher Jews. At the time, no one could have imagined anything this stupid surviving long enough to be a problem. The Irish invented whiskey. You wouldn't have gasoline. This thing should have dried up and blown away like chaff in the wind a long time ago. Gandhi invented Muslim neutrality. They're like, oh, well, the Christians get neutrality. How come we don't? Because it's not a real religion. It's a vendetta. It's mandatory. It works better if you don't like it. The Jews don't marry 6-year-olds. Okay, but the messenger of Allah wrote the Quran with a 6-year-old by his side in a cave right by himself. That God had to come down and show him how to read and write and everything. So, Army, Navy, Marines, Central. If there is but one Allah and Muhammad is his prophet, it's not a corporation. Look it up. If there is but one Allah and Muhammad is his prophet, how stupid, how unforgivably fucking stupid do the rest of us have to be for him to stay in charge forever? So Flat Earth has been holding the global scientific community for ransom since Gandhi. So 2 world wars we might have avoided so far. We want to talk about whether Israel has a right to exist. It's a democracy. Not all these other countries need to exist. I have drafted guidelines for the objective identification of unconstitutional state media activity on the land. Reliable men and women should see how that could be useful, whether they believe me or not. The objective of holy war is to deprive your enemy of impetus. So now impetus no longer exists to send a bunch of kamikaze homos over here to take the whole thing down with them. They lured us into a stalemate right off the bat. They blamed Charles de Gaulle. They called him a terrorist so they could protect us from France, which was internal affairs since the revolution. They blamed the CIA for JFK so they could protect us from Washington. Roe v. Wade was a declaration of victory over democracy and Jesus Christ. They got Reagan and John Paul II both shot so they could force us to fight a war on drugs with nothing but snake oil and rainbows. And all what we really did, the bad thing that we did where we deserved this was the New Deal. But we were going to buy the world a Coke, not shove it up virgins' noses with our boyfriends, go into exile just in time for a Holocaust like Sigmund Freud. And really, we had to compete with the invention of Muslim neutrality. Islam is a vendetta against all the descendants of slaves who escaped getting raped by the hand of God at Sodom and Gomorrah, for instance. They have to rape all the angels to prove they're not a threat. Apotheosis is heresy. Heresy is heresy in any religion. So if they're raping the angels who fell from heaven because they work for God, we have to find God and prove it's God so we can do whatever he says. Because if it bleeds, it's not a God.